Hear ye, hear ye. The Hamblen County Commission is now in session. The Honorable Bobby Hahn presiding. Please remain standing.
I want to wish everyone a good evening and welcome to the Hamblen County Legislative Body for this May 22nd, 2025. We'll start off by asking the Honorable Joe Huntsman to lead us in prayer.
Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and he will acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Let us pray. Father in heaven, our county is not a big city county and doesn't have the resources of larger counties. I pray for our county commissioners to seek and to make a budget. We face more needs than we have money to handle. And we have to make difficult choices that we may have to wait, prioritize and wait until next year. We pray to work together to bring new businesses to our county, new jobs and income. Help us all see the big picture. We pray for all that we serve in our local community. We strengthen them, us, and we ask for wisdom, clarity, and grace. Help us to keep our eyes toward the Lord in everything we do, and that we work in the best interest of the people who also serve us. Guide us in all we do. I pray all these things in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. We'll now call on the Honorable Rodney Long to lead us in the pledge.
Please flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We'll do a roll call. Commissioners. We have a quorum. We'll begin. Mr. Walker. While he's retrieving the sign-in sheet, I will ask that everyone in attendance, please mute your phones. Commissioners, please turn your mics on. And with that said, we ask that anyone coming to the podium, the mic is real easy to adjust, so if you're a little shorter, a little taller, and speak into the mic so it can be picked up on the recording. And commissioners, if you'll do likewise with your mic. Keep in mind, we operate under Robert's Rules of Order unless local rules do supersede. We'll now move down to our public speaking. On non-agenda items, I have one person signed up, and that will be Charles Cook. He'll come to the podium.
Good evening. So I want to talk to you about the proposed vote centers, the convenient vote centers. It's been basically it's been proposed by unelected people across the state that are affecting these counties. Now, when I say unelected, these people are appointed to this election commission. Okay, so the people can't hold them accountable if things go wrong. But you guys vote for this, and that's where the frustration's going to come when things go bad. So I've talked and I've sent videos to every one of you guys, folks, by email to watch. the Tennessee Voters for Election Integrity, and Tennessee Fair Elections are all against vote centers. They're no good. Frank Limpus from the Tennessee Voter Integrity group lives in Williamson County. He is a poll worker down there. He has seen what they've done down there. They've created lower turnout because less precincts, less places to vote, longer lines. People are busy. If they don't vote early, they go to the polls, the lines are long, they move on, they got to pick up their kids, they got to go to a ball game, whatever. That's on election day. Okay? You can see that if you watch the video. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said just a month ago in an interview at the White House with the president that electronic voting machines are vulnerable to hackers. And they are looking to do national elections on paper ballots. Okay? So who's up, if you do this next year, who's up first time elections? Everyone in the county offices. Your primaries are the first one that's going to be the guinea pigs. Okay? So you folks need to look at this and really study on it before we implement this, because it's going to cause problems. People don't like change. People don't like the early vote. They like to go to their precincts. It's not going to end well. Thank you.
We do appreciate your comments. Thank you. Anyone else on non-agenda items? You don't have to be signed up to speak. We will ask for your name and address when you come to the mic if you did not sign up. But anyone else on non-agenda items?
Linda Noe, Joe Stevens Road. I'd like to talk about rules. We keep hearing them just about every meeting. Somebody will say, we got to follow the rule, and somebody else will say, well, what about this rule and that rule? Well, how about all the rules? How about all the rules? How about let's have our rules committee meet again and go back and assemble the rules we already have. That was voted on. That was supposed to be done. And here we are 2-3 years later, and we don't have that compilation of the Hamblen County rules. How about have a session with your county attorney, or you could probably get somebody from CTAS to come, or Charlie Curtis, on open meetings and open records. And maybe that would help avoid situations as we've had recently with people denying records to members of the public or people conducting meetings without public notice. This shouldn't keep happening. And I think primarily it's, again, like so many things, it's a lack of understanding, a lack of it being explained. So have a session. We're having all these work sessions and committee meetings about a 1-2 hour session on open records and open meetings. And again, when talking about rules, I'd like you to consider allowing people to have a cell phone. You know how big they are. And be able to tape the portions of the meeting that they want to tape. I know we have a tape here. I was involved in having that installed 23 years ago, 21 years ago. We even had it donated. Open government is extremely important, and there's no reason not to let people tape a meeting. And the last thing I want to say, there was a lawsuit over placards. It was settled. The county insurance provider had to pay $10,000 to the attorney for the plaintiffs, And I remember one person, it was Mr. Cutshaw, he said all he wanted to know was what a placard is. We still don't have any definition of a placard.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else on non-agenda items? Move down to our agenda items. Have one sign up, Mr. John Cox. Let me ask you this, is this about the nomination? Okay, you're gonna have a chance, okay, when we get to that, just in a minute, so that way we don't have redundancy. Is that okay? All right, anyone else on agenda items?
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. On agenda items, I would like to talk on what Mr. John Cox was going to talk on. Your nomination and appointment to replace Mr. Bell as the District 9 Commissioner. I hope, as you consider this, and as you listen to Mr. John Cox or anyone else who speaks about it, that you will give serious consideration to supporting someone who has been attending your meetings for the past year at least. Someone who has already shown an interest and a concern for the county. This is an important seat. This will be for probably over a year. Depends on when the primaries are. Of course, they won't take office till September 1st of 2026. But whoever you appoint now will be here for a year and 5 months or so. That's an important position, and it needs to be somebody who is familiar with and who has shown interest and who has attended meetings, not just suddenly coming to some meetings when there's an opening. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak on agenda items? Please state your name and address.
My name's Justin Anderson, and my address is 3121 Three Springs Road. I'm speaking on the nomination. I guess it's time to do that right now.
Are you nominating yourself?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm supporting Mr. John Cox. I've known him now for about 22 years, and he is not my birth father, obviously, but he is my dad. And he's my dad because he chose to be my dad. And I've learned more from him about how to live life with dignity and integrity and honesty and respect and compassion for others than I have anyone else, like all the other people combined. I mean, he has just taught me and molded me into the man that I am today. He was an excellent addition to my life, and I do believe he would be an excellent addition to this commission. He does come to these meetings religiously. I come 3 or 4 times a year, and not only does he come, but he gets here way too early. It drives me crazy, you know, like we live 15 minutes away, and he's like, we gotta leave at 4 o'clock, you know, and you know, we're sitting in the parking lot at 4:20, and but he shows up early, he stays late. I've heard him address this commission, and he does it so respectfully. Even when he disagrees, he tries to find common ground on things. It's just a wonderful, wonderful man. And I don't know how many of you all have had an opportunity to just chat with him, but you would learn all the things that I've said rather quickly about him. You would learn them in person. I know that he doesn't need this job. I mean, there's not, income really, a large salary or anything. But he took a strong interest in this community after he moved here, and it's just grown by the day ever since. And I do believe that he would make an excellent commissioner, and I encourage you all to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Of anyone else that wishes to address an agenda item? Okay, we'll close our public comments. Move down, excuse me, to item 3. The floor is now open for nominations for District 9 Commissioner appointment. Have any nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Mike John Cox.
We have Mike John Cox nominated.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Jamie Carden.
Jamie Carden.
Mr. Chairman,
One second. Let me write this down, okay? Yes, Commissioner
I'd
Green.
like to nominate Kim Coffey.
Okay. Is she in attendance tonight?
She'll be here just in a little bit. She's running late from the sheriff's department. She's working. But she'll be here.
Do I have anyone else? Any other nominations? Okay, the way this will work, we will vote. It's a simple majority. We'll vote one round. Of the 3, the lowest vote getter is eliminated, and then we'll vote the runoff for the top 2. It'll take 7 votes to win, and that person will be elected and sworn in to office. Okay? Any questions? Again, you have Mike John Cox, Jamie Cardone, and Kim Coffey. Okay? So we'll do a roll call.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
1 second. If you want to do that, you might want to wait till Ms. Coffey's in attendance, because unless there's a letter to accept that in her absence, you may want to delay action. Ms. Green, Commissioner Green indicates she's on her way. It's up to this body, but you can't vote on somebody by rule without them in attendance.
There she is. She
All right,
just came.
there you go. It's all a moot point.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Coffey, you've been nominated for District 9 Commission. Do you accept that nomination? All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, roll call. Just simply say one of the 3 names. Oh, I'm sorry,
What
I
I thought.
apologize. We don't, do you wish to say anything, Ms. Coffey? Yes, please. Just for the mic, it's hard to pick up if we don't.
Amen.
Kim Coffey. I was born and raised here. I've helped people my entire life. I've been in a job of service. I've worked at Matt's as a case manager. I've been a bail bondsman. I've been a CASA advocate. I've worked with juvenile justice for 15 years. I'm now with adult justice, and I'm helping with getting all the ICE stuff together, which is kind of a headache, but we're getting it done. And I just feel that I live in a community that I want to help. I want changes. I have a lot of elderly people in my neck of the woods. I also have a lot of them are farmers. It's agriculture up through there for a lot of us. So I want to be a difference. I want to be a solution to a problem.
Thank you very much. Good luck. Okay.
Cox.
Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. John Cox wanted the word as well.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. John Cox, you did, and jump up there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had forgotten about that.
Hello, Commissioners. I want to take well, there was 3 minutes to touch base with a few I haven't been able to talk with about my willingness to stand for the appointment to District 9 Commission seat. I first got involved with county commission meetings during the COVID period as I saw a group protesting the jail justice center while driving through Whitesburg, and nobody I knew in my area had a clue what was going on and could answer me. Since then, I've attended about 90% of all meetings. Now my local friends ask me what is going on county-wise, and I answer as best I can. I respectfully watched, listened, and have spoken at the mic when I felt I had something to say and support both pro or con on agenda items. I may not have agreed totally with items as presented and offered other ideas to compromise. One point was the wheel tax, and my suggestion was brought forth as an amendment to it for motorcycle riders, but it was shot down as a whole. My motto is we agree to disagree when working with others. I feel I am able to look at all sides of an issue and vote my conscience and hopefully with my district and county's best intentions. My work resume is short, as I started factory work in my senior year of high school to purchase my car and motorcycle on my own. There were massive layoffs in 1975, so I enlisted in the Navy and was honorably discharged 4 years later, specializing in shipboard repair as a second-class petty officer. I come from a family business where my dad owned 2 campgrounds, one in New York, the other in Virginia, which I was the owner-operator from 1981 until I sold and retired in 2018. What I was taught was basically you don't spend more than you bring in. And while I was in the camping industry, I was on the Virginia Campground Owners Board of Directors for 12 years, which included working within our state budget for it. 2 years before we retired, my wife and I spent looking where to live. We knew that we wanted to move somewhere in the area of Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. We wanted to be about 3 hours from our grandchildren. We were showed many places in the local area for a year, and when we visited our place in Whitesburg, we knew it was where we wanted it to be our last residence, out in the country, yet close enough to stores. I'm for the rural lifestyle in District 9 with a strong desire for landowners' rights, keeping the farmland and cattle in our area. But I do realize that with growth comes expenses, and since we live on a retirement budget, just like all the families here working and raising children, the need to not be overtaxed and burdened. My vow, if appointed, is to help keep the tax base reasonable without a massive increase while supporting our county services we receive. I know it's not popular, but the reality is we need to be willing to take care of our county expenses now. And I appreciate everybody that got back with me and the ones that I couldn't connect with. I hope you read the emails and messages that I sent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and again, good luck. Oh, there he is. I was looking for you. Okay, Mr. Carden, would come up and...
My name is Jamie Carden. I put my name in the hat also for the Commissioner 9 seat. I live on Pullen Road in Whitesburg. I lived there since 2001. I'm an import from Carter County, where there's 23 commissioners, so I'm familiar with the numbers of things. But I've been here for a while. I've been involved in a lot of community events and things, and my jobs has taken me to places this almost monthly, honestly. I'm a civil engineer. I'm part owner of a company of about 180 people. We operate across 3 different states. And I'm in board meetings pretty frequently with managers, utility directors, board members to discuss some policies, just like tonight, for large expenses and maybe not enough income coming in, helping them set rates, if you will, doing those different things. And I know our county has a lot of things, maybe unfortunately, coming up for the things that are happening because of COVID, and things have changed drastically. Again, my job is kind of put me on the forefront of that. I've been used to doing that for a while, and I've had a lot of, I say, civic involvement locally. I've worked with the City of Morristown Engineering Department for a while. I was manager at Russellville Whitesburg Utility for 7 years, been my employer for 10 plus years. I've worked at TDOT, worked at different places doing different things. So my job has, again, led me to places like this pretty frequently, and had to make hard decisions with things. Then I think there's unfortunately harder decisions coming for our county, whether I'm appointed tonight or not. And I felt like this is an opportunity to, not just for my family, But for those of the residents, we've got to kind of look at things that are happening and maybe make those hard calls that we don't want to say out loud probably. But it is a big deal. I have 3 sons. One's a graduate, also a civil engineer graduate just recently. I have a son that's graduating maybe in a year from Union College. He's working in construction right now. I have a sophomore at Morristown East High School. All my kids have been at Whitesburg and East Ridge, and I'm one of the co-founders of the middle school baseball team. I've kept that active because we'd have that huge lack. I've been an umpire and coach in Little League for 15, 16 years, so I feel like I've been involved, whether maybe I've not been at every meeting, but I have things that have kind of put me in front of things to know what's happening each and every time. And I'm proud to be here. I may be at Carter County by birth, but I've been here almost as long as I've lived in Carter County, so I'm glad to be here. Don't plan on being anywhere different, and I appreciate your consideration tonight.
Thank you very much, and we wish you well. All right, we're going to call the roll again. We have Mike John Cox, we have Jamie Carden, and we have Kim Coffey. If let's call one of those 3 names, we'll proceed.
Debbie Ahern,
Jamie Carden.
Paul Mascody,
Jamie Carden.
Edna Green,
Kim Coffey.
Stan Harville,
Mike John Cox.
Bobby Vaughn,
Jamie Carden,
Tim Horner,
Jamie Carden.
Joe Huntsman,
Jimmy Carter.
Peggy Howell,
Mike John Cox.
Rodney Long,
Jamie Carden.
Mike Reed,
Jamie Carden.
Mike Richardson,
Jamie Carden.
Wayne Neesmith,
Kim Coffey.
Kyle Walker.
Jamie Carden.
Okay. So we have a tie for second place. But we have a vast majority. The vote comes out to 9 for Mr. Carden, 2 each for Mr. John Cox. So, be Mr. Carden. Okay. We thank you guys, Mr. John Cox, Ms. Coffey, for your interest. We appreciate your support going forward and all that you do for this county. Mr. Carden, if you'll step into the well, you will be sworn in by our mayor, Chris Cutshaw.
All right, if you will, place your right hand on the Bible, please. Or y'all want to switch around where it's not awkward?
That's all right, we're good.
All right. I, Jamie Carden,
I, Jamie Carden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will perform with fidelity
that I will perform with
the
fidelity
duties of the office of which I have been elected,
the duties of the office in which I have been elected,
and which I am about to assume.
in which I am about to assume.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to support the constitutions of Tennessee
to support the constitutions of Tennessee
and the United States,
and the United States,
and to faithfully perform
and to faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the
of
office
County Commissioner representing the 9th District
the County Commissioner representing District 9
of Hamblen County,
of
Tennessee.
Hamblen County, Tennessee.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Carden? Jump right into the fire.
Thomas, can I borrow your desk?
You're welcome to it, brother.
This is, you want him to sign that one right there. Which one you got? This is for Trish.
Chris. Hey, Chris.
Mr. Carden, you do know you are obligated to take us all out to dinner afterward. And pay.
Taco Bell has all we need.
Glad to have you aboard. Appreciate you. And Mr. Carden, if you run into any questions or glitches, you're sitting beside two fine gentlemen. They can answer, come to me or anyone else. We'll be glad to.
You moving me?
Yeah. Glad to have you aboard. All right, let's move on down to, item 4, Calendar and Rules Committee report. Chairman Thomas Doty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have item 4A, which is the approval of the consent calendar items, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Let's vote the motion. Or any questions? I'm sorry.
Please.
Yes.
I'd like to see the camper issue removed from adopting that record till we get some clarification. I was here for that vote, and don't take this the wrong way. I was confused as the devil as to what we did and did not do, and I'd like to see it pulled and some clarification before it's adopted.
So what exactly are you referencing again?
Well, for one thing, it came in as draft 5. If I remember correctly, and you can straighten me out if I'm wrong, I think we split it. I may be wrong, but I'm thinking we split it for a vote.
And then I pulled that out and we voted for it all.
Yeah, so it does not, to me, it needs some clarification. That's just my thoughts, sir.
Mayor, will you address that?
Yes. Ms. Green has the right to remove anything on the consent calendar and take it to the next item after that is, what is it, number 5, I think? Yes, item 5, and this body can take up that point right there and vote it in or out, up or down on that point of number 5.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So we'll move the camper vote to item 5, camper RV. For clarification.
For clarification, I think she's pointing to the minutes. Is that what you're referring to?
I read the minutes, yes, sir, and they didn't make a bit more sense to me, and I was here.
I'm just saying, that's what you're moving to, item 5 is the minutes, correct?
Is the minutes and exactly what we voted on for clarification, please.
It's the body of the minutes, though.
Well, it needs clarification. Let me clarify what I stated.
No, she can do that.
So you're wanting the minutes clarified, is that?
I want to know exactly what we voted to put in there, because the way the minutes are written, it's confusing to me. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was here and I was confused.
We'll address that in item 5.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Doty?
I think Mr. Neesmith's over there too. Speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Neesmith.
I thought we was over on the rental agreement.
No.
My numbers are different from somebody else's then. Diverse computer system for the sheriff's department.
Are you under item 4?
On A. Oh, you're on approval of consent.
Yes. Yeah.
You're on A. I thought you didn't bypass all the way down to the others.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you,
My
sir.
excuse.
Anyone else? Okay, no questions? We'll vote the motion. Or, excuse me, I don't guess we'll be voting. Do we need to vote to move that down, or it's just by request, isn't it?
Yes, it's automatically moved.
By request,
Once
okay.
it's requested, you put it on item 5,
Very
and
good.
you can take it up there.
Thank you, sir.
Vote off the board.
Mr. Doty? We are voting, yes. Motion passes.
Have item 4B, approval of the regular calendar items, and we have quite a few additions. Everyone should have had a copy at their station on this. First edition is 9B, which updated construction contract between Hamblen County and Construction Partners LLC. Item 9C is updated equipment rental agreement, diverse computing with indemnification clause removed. And item 9E-4, which is budget amendment. Budget amendment number 4 is Fund 101, drug court expansion with public safety grants of $183,060. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have any questions or comments?
I have one question, make
Ms.
sure that
Green?
I'm on the right path. We will still have the opportunity to discuss that rental contract with the Sheriff's Department, I'm assuming, under finance, sir? Thank you, sir.
Yes, it just approves it being on the calendar.
Any other questions? Let's vote the motion. Motion passes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Doty. Move down to item 5. Any items removed from the consent calendar?
Mr. Chairman,
Can we vote that on the board? Yes. Okay. Hold on one second. Mr. Long.
can I ask a question? We moved at number 5, but Commissioner Green asked for it to be moved and then voted against moving it. Can that be explained to me?
I don't think I have to give you an explanation, do
Well,
I?
you voted not to move it, so why did you ask to move it?
I asked to move it for the simple fact, when I read the minutes, and I was here when that vote was taken, it did not make sense to me, sir, and above that, I have no explanation for you, sir.
I understand that, but you voted not to move
I
it.
know how I voted, sir, and that's my right, I think.
So why are we even addressing it?
Under the rules, I think that we go by, it was supposed to be moved if it was requested. Maybe we've changed those rules again.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and County Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the vote was not to remove to item 5. It was the approval of such. Just the request automatically removes it. That is not something that's up for vote
Yes,
at
sir.
any time on that. Any commissioner can request an item be removed from the consent calendar, and it is automatically removed. And then after that, the vote was just on the approval of such.
Thank you.
Yeah. We do need a motion for number 5.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion, Ms. Green. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second, Ms. Howell. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, let's vote the motion.
I think Ms. Green's requested to speak.
All right, Ms. Green?
That needs to be clear enough whether it's enforceable. And the way that it reads, it's confusing. And then I don't have a legal mind, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But honestly, I think your county attorney needs to look at that before we adopt it. That's just my thoughts. That's what we're paying for. At least I think that's what we're paying for.
Let's vote the motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Al, would you like to speak?
Yes, sir, I just punched it over the last half second, thank you. I guess what the vote concerns is just an explanation of, a clarification of that camper issue. Just a clarification. Okay, am I right?
That's what
We
we
have to talk to Ms. Green about that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Ahern.
I'm sorry for my confusion, but I'm a little confused on what I'm voting for now. Am I voting to remove the item that Ms. Green has placed before us, or accepting what she's put before us?
No, she's asking to have it removed.
So I'm voting for that. Yes to have it removed?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's not clear enough. So she's asking, because she doesn't see it as being clear enough, she wants it removed. Okay. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Any other questions or comments? All right, let's vote the motion. All right, motion is rejected. Move down to item 6, approval of the consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, Mr. Doty. We have a second, Mr. Horner. Any questions or comments? Let's vote the motion.
Yea, 2 nay.
Motion passes. Down to item 7, we will now recess as the Hamblen County Legislative Body and convene as the Hamblen County Beer Board. We have a beer permit for H&M Food Mart, Mr. Patel, at 4550 Inca Highway, Morristown, Tennessee, 37813. Anyone wish to speak on this? Okay, okay. Commissioners? Okay, we will reconvene as the Hamblen County Legislative Body, taking into consideration the beer permit for H&M Food Mart, Mr. Patel, 4450 Inca Highway, Morristown, Tennessee, 37813. I need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a motion.
Mr. Horner.
Mr. Horner? Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Richardson, that's second. Mr. Carden, did you want to speak?
I just wanted to make a point, just being newly elected, I have reviewed the documents from the previous meetings on the following items, starting with this one, so I do feel confident enough to vote, so.
Very good, thank you. Appreciate that. Any other comments or questions? Let's vote the motion. Motion passes. Now move down to item 9, our Finance Committee. I'll call on Chairman Rodney Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll start with 9A, funding year 25 Homeland Security Grant application, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, and we have a second. Do we have any questions or comments? Let's vote the motion. And vote, motion passes.
Move to 9B, construction contract between the Hamblen County government and Construction Partners LLC. I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Mr. Long, Mr. Horner. Any questions or comments? Vote to motion.
Department.
I meant to ask the question, but I guess it's too late. I just want to know, is this for the health department? Yes. Okay, we need to specify that on here. I couldn't figure out what it was. Okay.
Motion passes.
Move to 9C is equipment rental agreement, diverse computing with the identification clause removed, and I put that in the form of a motion.
A motion, Mr. Long. We have a second, Ms. Ahern. Any questions? Let's vote the motion. Oh, excuse me, Ms. Green.
If you'll go back to the new sheet that we have under page 1, number 6, we've got a confidentiality clause in there. Under open records for Tennessee, we can't do that. They covered that in our training in Nashville and Gatlinburg. We cannot sign anything, because if someone wants to do an open record request, a record request, they have that right. We're a government, we're not a private agency. I would ask that that's pulled and corrected for the safety of Hamblen County, or at least something added to cover Hamblen County. And somebody needs to be reading those contracts. Did you find it, Bobby?
Mr. Mayor, can you address this?
I cannot, I'm not certain of the implications of that at all.
What page did you say that was on?
It's the one that was on my desk. It's under authorized person. It's got 6 in parentheses out from it, but it's the first page, Mr. Chairman.
Number 8, confidential information.
Number 6. I think it says confidential in number 6, and it also covers it in number 8. And we can't do that, confidentiality, and abide by the open records laws in Tennessee. Thank you, Peggy, for the clarification. I looked at the wrong one when I was hunting it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just what we think that some of this confidential information is by federal law, it's not allowed to be released. And that is what we're hearing. And I think that's standard on this one. Obviously, what Commissioner Green is bringing up, if there is an open records request for such items, if it's not redacted by federal law or something, that will be provided, obviously.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Howell? Mr. Doty, I'm sorry.
Where I'm reading this is merely in articles related to definitions, some of the definition of such, which to me looks like just a form section. Have you found it somewhere in the actual agreement, Ms. Green, or just under the definitions?
It's under that, and then it's in the agreement.
Where's it at in the agreement? Because I've only found it on, that first page is only under definitions. If you'll move back over to the left slightly where it says Article 1, recitals and definitions is all that is.
Well, I'm
Definition of
under,
such.
that is a definition, but it says to keep it confidential. It
So
says.
ma'am, that's only giving the definition. Is it somewhere in the actual
I
contract?
did not get on down in there when I caught that one, and what they had given us down there, when they wanted to stay confidential, it hit a nerve for what they had taught us down there. And, hold on, let's see, bear with me, and let me match up.
I am not an attorney by trade or anything, but I've read over this and I don't
It's in number 8.
I think we're good. Let's move on. Ms. Howell, do you need to speak?
Well, yes, sir, thank you. Maybe we should just put this on for next time and just, our attorney isn't here.
I think we got clarification on it. I think we're okay to move forward. Okay. Mr. Richardson?
In section 802, it talks about confidential information, and then 803 is talking about trade secrets. And basically, this is information that they had developed that we're the end user, the licensing agent, I guess, or they're the agent, we're the licensee. And we can give them any information that we have concerning our operations of this, but trade secrets and, you know, it's like, how do you make Cracker Barrels, you know?
We all want to know.
Yeah, we all want to know stuff like that, but this is a license agreement and trade secret stuff that, I think that's what we're asking for is, in our contract, we can give them, if they require a records request, we can give them that, but we just don't know what the trade secret is and how it's their operating system. It's like Microsoft 365 or, you know, any of these things. We just don't have that information.
We thank you, Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson.
Ms. Green?
I don't have a legal mind, but I do think to protect the county, considering our mayor found the clause that he found on the health department, we owe it to the citizens of Hamblen County to have the attorney check it. And it's not gonna make that much difference coming for the next session. We need to protect our citizens above all else.
Mr. Mayor, you weigh in?
First and second.
I think it's, Mr. Richardson gave the proper point, as well as, the Sheriff's Department staff has indicated that that's what it is. There's certain information that can be shared. Anything that would possibly be shared on our behalf would obviously be there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's vote the motion. Motion passes.
Move to 9D, opiate abatement committee funding recommendation, 3rd Judiciary District Recovery Court Support Services. It's for $20,000 and $10,000 for the DARE program, and I do put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Long. We have a second from Mr. Doty. Mr. Neesmith.
I didn't get those figures on what it is for the diverse corporation and what it was for the fire power rental. What's the total dollar we're looking at on that?
Wait a minute.
Would you restate your question?
Yeah.
What's the total dollar we're looking for to, when we go to diverse computer, CDI? What is our dollar figure we're looking at for rental and also for the software? If we look in our program, the first thing I saw some money come out was it's in the old one. I got it here. It won't take me long to find it. I think it was $10,500. And then when we go to Fire Stick, firepower is $2,500 plus $500. So I'm just wanting to know what the full bill on this is. And then I've got another question relating to this. Why are we going to this new computer system? Didn't our old computer system, I've heard some things backwards and forwards on it. I don't know who wants to speak on the Sheriff's Department, but Catamus, I think, was a system that we had in place. And I think Catamus was when officers would come to the jail to check on inmates. The Catamus system, that system was on the outside of the cells. And in this new system, when the officer comes by, it's on the new inside the jail cells,
Let me,
and the two can't work, you can't use them both.
okay, I understand. We're on item D, the opioid abatement committee.
Item D, I don't even see item D. Okay, 'cause we ain't got down there to it yet then, right?
No, we done passed it.
We done passed
Let's give us something to think about till we get there. Why are we doing this new system?
Okay, let's get D taken care of. Thank you, Mr. Neesmith.
We're on D, right?
Anyone else? All right, let's vote the motion.
Always had issues, got me sitting down confused.
You did say we'd get down to that.
You did ask for questions, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's afterwards. I apologize.
We'll see.
Did they vote on it? I didn't.
We're voting.
I didn't vote on it. You didn't vote on that, have you?
Mr. Neesmith, you need to vote.
Mr. Chairman, if I understood, after a move and a second, weren't we supposed to have the time to ask questions, or did I miss something, Darby?
I did
On the
ask.
opioid?
I did.
Okay, I missed it then. I apologize.
I'm sorry, but I did. And this motion passes. Mr. Long?
We'll move to 9E, budget amendment. We'll start with number 1. The first amendment is Hamblen County Department of Education Budget Amendment number 8, increase of $1,467,548.74. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Long. We have a second, Mr. Doty. Any questions? Okay, let's vote the motion. And the motion passes.
Go to E2.
Familiar with that.
Fund 101, Civil Defense for $538.25. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Long. We have a second, Mr. Harville. Any questions? Vote the motion. Motion passes.
E3, Fund 101, transfer out of $166,024. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Long. We have a second, Mr. Horner. Any questions? Vote the motion. And this motion passes.
We have E4, Fund 101, Drug Court Expansion, Public Safety Grant of $183,060, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Long. We need a verbal second. Second. Mr. Doty, thank you very much. Do we have any comments or questions about this? Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Debbie Akers,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edmund Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Yes.
Ken Horner,
Yes.
Joe Hunt,
Yes.
Peggy Howell,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Kyle Walker.
Yes.
Yes. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Long. That motion does pass. Item 10, we've got some things coming up. Our committee meetings will be June 16th at 5 o'clock right here. Our full commission meeting will be Thursday, June 26th at 5 o'clock in this room. And then keep in mind, on June 12th at 5 o'clock, we have a budget meeting, and it'll also be right here. Okay? Just a couple of things to kind of wrap up. I know Ms. Noyes had some concerns about the rules and the compilation of the rules and whatnot, and that is something that's being worked on at this time. And I don't know about the open records, what problems that we've had there, but we are looking into the compilation of the rules. And without hiring another staff member to do this at the expense of the county, it's been, Ms. Bowman, Ms. Trish, she's been taking this on herself to try to pull this together. That's one of her projects. We've addressed the iPhone taping of the commission meetings. We've ruled against that, and that will not be allowed at this time. I will ask, as we have no updates, Mr. Sheriff? None updates. We have one of our very own, Captain David Cribley, is, as we speak, in surgery. If you don't know about his situation, he's at Duke University. He is in surgery at this time. It's not imminently life-threatening, but it's very serious, and we do ask that each of you pray that he'll be blessed with full recovery. He's a newlywed, just got married on Saturday, and you know, I love the guy dearly. I know a lot of you do, so please keep that in mind. We're going to take a short recess, and then we're going to come back for the sheriff's budget. We are adjourned.
Call the Budget Committee meeting Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 to order, please. Is anyone wishing to address the committee at this time? Seeing none, we'll move to 3A, old business, and we do not have any. We will move now to new business. We will start with courtroom security, and that'll be tab 32. Sheriff Mullins, will you and Michelle come to the podium?
Well, let me say first, if I may, if you're asking, well, why is she up there talking? Well, first off, it's because I asked him if I could, but more so because Captain Cribley is not able to be here with us tonight. You'll notice in front of you, I'm sure you've already started looking at them. I know you've got your budget notebooks, but I've also given you a handout that's going to cover exactly what we're talking about. It coincides with your notebook, so it's got the tab listed, and it's color-coded with what the sheriff and I have. So hopefully we can all follow along, be on the same page. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I have one. Thank you. It was so small I couldn't read it, so thank you.
We're all in the same age bracket, we understand.
I
Okay,
doubt
so
that.
if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and get started with this. So basically, as you know, there are 7 budgets that fall under the heading of the Hamblen County Sheriff's Office. Now, since 2022, when Sheriff Mullins went into office, we have asked for minimal operational increases in those budgets. Actually, on a lot of those line items, over that time frame, there have been decreases, including in this year's budget. Now, actually, we have been able to limit our spending since 2022 for supplies, for training, for travel, for equipment, including big equipment, as well as things for the jail, for the new Justice Center, including a brand-new transport vehicle. We've been able to secure all that because of grants. We've gotten grants to the tune of, what, more than $500,000. As a matter of fact, this year, we've already applied for, I hate this thing. I can talk without it. But this year, we've already applied for and been approved for another
$10,000 grant. It is a non-matching THSO grant, which is Tennessee Highway Safety Office. What we're going to use this money for, we're going to use it for equipment, and it's also going to be for overtime that we do for traffic enforcement. Now, talking about this year's budgets, the upcoming year, well, this year actually, of those 7 budgets, 2 of those we are asking for no operational increase at all. 2 of those budgets, we are simply asking for 1 operational increase in each of those. And for the other 3, we're asking for those operational increases, but it has nothing to do with us, totally out of our control. It's due to maintenance agreement costs and also things associated with a new facility. So again, your handouts are going to coincide with your tabs. They're also color-coded, so if you guys are ready, shall we just go ahead and jump in court security? Does anybody have any questions first? Let me ask that.
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
In the past, I've watched your uniform allowance, and I've noticed it's not every officer. Will that change at some point to give every officer the opportunity to put in for that?
Say that again, uniform?
In the past, I've tracked your uniform allowance.
Okay.
I noticed that some get it, others, it doesn't seem to flow, for lack of a nicer word. So will that change and give everybody the opportunity? Because I'm assuming everybody needs new uniforms at some point or another.
Everybody gets new uniforms.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we can go ahead, if everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and jump into court security. I think first thing before we start this, though, I think people need to understand that court security actually encompasses more than just court security. These officers, they do mental health transports, they do inmate transports. If somebody has an outstanding warrant, they turn themselves in. Our court security officers are the one that do the arrests. If somebody comes in and needs a report written up, we don't pull folks off the street. We use our court security officers to do that. Now, of course, they do maintain the safety of the courthouse and the Justice Center, and they do maintain the safety in the courtrooms between these 2 entities, but they also do out-of-state inmate travels. Just last week, we had 2 gentlemen that went to Ocala, Florida to pick up an inmate. Now, they also, of course, are responsible for bringing the inmates back and forth from the jail to all the different courts. And if there is a day when there's not court happening, court security officers go out and serve warrants. So again, me personally, I think the title needs to be changed from court security to something totally different because, again, they do way more than just court security. Now, because of all the duties that fall under their responsibility, and because, for lack of better wording, because of the stretched out size of the new Justice Center, for us to be able to effectively do what we need to do, we're going to need additional court security officers. Realistically, we need 8. But what we're going to do is ask you for 4 full-time court security officers in the new year. Now, of course, with new staff, you know what comes along with that? Additional cost in uniforms, additional cost in testing. And when I say testing, these are psychiatric evaluations. They are required for all of our employees, post-certified employees. We're going to have to get new psychiatric testing. We're going to have to get new amounts for uniforms, for training, and for travel. Again, those things are out of our control. It just kind of goes along with having new personnel. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think each court security will cost you? What is the total you're looking at?
Are you talking about uniform-wise?
I'm talking uniform, training, everything. A year, what do you expect it to cost?
They would get, well, they do a lot of other things, and I'll get into the cost in a little bit. They'll get 4 uniforms. They're not getting cars. We've got transport cars. So I can't give you an exact number how much it costs with the benefit package and all that, but they'll start with the minimum pay, which is what I will address here in a little bit. But they also, the court security are post-certified police officers. They go through the police academy at Water State. They, after they get out of the police academy, they also go through 240 hours of training on patrol. They also serve order protections when they're not in court. They serve civil papers. Then once they get their 240 hours, then they're eligible to go out and answer calls as well. So they wear a number of hats. And in the new facility, we're going to have an extra courtroom where they do arraignments only. There'll have to be someone in there. Then we'll have a court holding area. We're going to have additional people there. We have to have at least 2 people in each court. we'll still be operating this building and that building. So exact number, I'd have to do the numbers on the uniforms. The academy is around $3,500, give or take. And then there's a meal plan that comes with that. So I'd have to get you all the numbers.
Ballpark figures, 50, 60,000, 65,000
I guess with the benefit package, I'd say around 60,000.
a year.
Commissioners, I would ask that us let the sheriff shall go through this, and then we'll ask questions at the end. Just write your questions down that you need to ask. We'll have a time at the end of it.
Also, I wanted to say about our courtroom security. They also, last year, they done 177 mental transports. They're going to Chattanooga. We've got some in Memphis. We've got some in Johnson City, and we've got some in Knoxville. They also run 196 inmate transports. So that could be going to the doctor, going to other counties and getting them, or going to Florida. I know we're going to have a hold on an individual that's got a lot of time that's in New York. When he gets done there, we'll have to go to New York and pick him up. So, court security, they wear a lot of hats and a lot of things they have to do throughout the day.
And again, the point being, for us to be able to effectively do what we need to do now, and when we get in the new facility, we're gonna need more. And as I mentioned earlier, and I know he can attest to it, we need 8, realistically, but we'll go with 4, and I guess we'll make it work.
There's a lot of times in criminal court right now, if we got a lot of medical transports or mental health transports, you'll see myself or the chief one in criminal court running inmates back and forth. Just because we're shorthanded because they're out doing transport.
Anybody have any other questions?
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate the fact that in a perfect world, you want 8, and you'll be happy with 4.
We're gonna try.
We're not that we'll be happy, but we'll make it work.
Okay,
Good job.
all right.
So if everybody's good with court security, we're gonna go on to what will be your tab 33, which is gonna be the actual sheriff's office. So with that, again, as I mentioned earlier, these operational increases, and again, let me stress, and I should have said this early on, these are solely operational increases. These have nothing to do with longevity, with insurance, with pay. These are just day-to-day things that we are gonna have to have. Now, going into the sheriff's office, the only things that we are asking for under the maintenance agreements, we're gonna have to have an increase on that. Again, that's out of our hands. That's because the contracts that we go with from year to year to year, they're increases. Perfect example with this one is our Pulsium contract. And the sheriff can speak more on that if you have questions, but Pulsium's gonna go up. We're also gonna have to add this software that we've had conversation about, this diverse computing. We have to have that software and that equipment to be able to do these NCIC checks. I mean, that we have to have that. There's an additional cost. And I can't remember which of you two asked about the cost earlier. Okay, Wayne, or Mr. Neesmith. That was discussed in last month's committee meeting, or I don't know, maybe it was earlier this month on the 12th, but the cost was discussed then, and I apologize, I don't have it off the top of my head right now. Point being, there's an additional cost. Also, we're gonna have to have more money in that line item because of the LTE radios we're gonna have to have. And again, the sheriff can speak more on that if anybody has questions.
What is an LT radio?
The LTE is the part of the radio that if they're out in a dead area in the county, it will reach the nearest telephone towers to give them signal.
Thank you.
And sadly, there's lots of places, and we all know that.
South Hamblen County's bad.
Yeah, there's no signal whatsoever. So again, we're gonna have to have increase in that line item. Again, that has nothing to do with us. It's not because we want it out of our hands. The next one is for the contracted services. We're gonna need an increase in that as well. Same thing, it's because of cost of maintenance agreements that we have, contracts we have. This one in particular is Leads Online. That is a program that our detectives use daily.
A little bit on Leads Online. If something's stolen, we got serial numbers, guns, TVs, whatever. We can go on Leads Online, put the serial number in, and if it's at a pawn shop, it'll let us know, or we can flag it looking for it.
And two, I guess I should have mentioned this at the onset. The charts that I gave you, like this one, this is the green under the sheriff's office. You can see on that chart what we are asking for in addition, what our current budget is, what we're gonna ask for the next year. Can everybody follow that? I'm guessing there's no comment, and that means yes. Okay. Now, in addition to this Leads Online, we're asking for a little bit more because almost every year there are increases in these contracts. Now, generally this time of year, these people we have contracts with, they have already notified me saying we're going to be going up this amount, we're going to go up this amount. Luckily, the only person I've heard from is the Leads Online people. So I'm hoping that's the only increase, but we might need to have that little window just in case. The last one that we're asking for in that is a little bit of an increase with our in-service and their training. That's solely because of Police One. Now, where that comes in, our post-certified officers, and again, the sheriff can probably speak better to this than I can, but I'm gonna give it a whirl. Our post-certified officers, they are required every year to have X amount of hours of training. I don't know the hours, I'm just gonna say X. They have to have this training. It's just not feasible to take our folks off the road and send them off for 3 days or 5 days, because a lot of times we're shorthanded as it is. With Police One, our folks can get the training that they have to have, they can get it online. So that is something that is used and used quite frequently. Again, there's an increase with that. Now, what we've discussed this coming budget year, we're gonna try to take advantage of CTAS trainings. A lot of those, there's no cost at all. Some of them minimal cost, but the majority of those are free, other than maybe travel or per diem. So we're gonna try to take advantage of that, but we have to have that Police One. So there's where that increase is. That's the only operational increases that we're asking for the sheriff's office.
What is Police One?
It's, do you wanna go, Laura? Do you
It's an
want-
online training, we go in, take some classes, skills, and get certifications.
They don't actually have to go somewhere to do, that's what I was saying, they don't have to go somewhere for 3 or 4 days or 5 days to get training. They can sit behind a desk and get it and still maintain their certification.
We're mandated, we have to have at least 40 hours.
40, okay.
Breaks it up.
Excellent.
Follow on and different things.
Anybody else have a, yes, ma'am.
Just, I'm backtracking. That-
No, you're fine.
so instead of 8, we've got 4, but they don't need a vehicle.
Court security, no, ma'am.
Good deal.
Unless you just want to give them some. Okay. Hey. You never know, we may ask for something later. But seriously, does anybody else have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Lisa, on tab 33, item 187, the overtime pay. When you have overtime, is it time and a half or is it just straight time? Curious, I'm sure you've all done the math, but that's a lot of overtime. Would it be better to have a person instead of paying the overtime? Instead of, I'm sorry. It's at tab 33, item 187.
Right here. Overtime pay.
Where are we at now? To get this
I mean, I'm just curious, I don't know.
We try to curb our overtime. We have cut our transports off at a certain time. We used to run transport all night long. If transport comes in after 9 p.m., we let them hold till the next morning, and then we'll pick them up at set pay. So we're trying to stop as much overtime as we possibly can.
Sure, I was just curious, I thought, wow, maybe it'd be better to hire somebody to take that place of, paying someone time and a half. Just curious.
That's what we're here for, suggestions and conversation. Does anybody have any other questions about this? Yes, Tom.
I just got you're fine. I just got a statement on something. Where the sheriff is talking about wanting the additional court officers and needing 8, but going to settle for 4 and curtailing a lot of this overtime. Some might remember it. I brought it up when it happened, some don't. But during the time when we had our severe weather situation and people were needing to be advised to evacuate and such, instead of paying overtime, our sheriff and chief went on their own and went knocking on doors all night long. They were on the go over 24 hours just so that they could Cut it down.
That wasn't, please, wasn't my,
It's just like what Thomas was saying, we do a lot of stuff on our own.
But that's how they get by with saying we'll make it work, is they're putting their hours in as well. And it's just a little tidbit of information so people can think about it. They are cutting it a lot, but it's because of their own dedication. And I'm sure Captain Cribley was out with you at that time, and it was just putting many, many hours in to keep it under control as far as financially.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Corner.
The court security, since they're post-certified, if one of your regular patrols vacating, one of those guys can jump in and fill in, or?
They could, but we can't spare anybody to leave during the day when the court's going on. We've got many different courts goes on different times, different days. And that's where a lot of times myself, the chief, are in the criminal court, taking a spot of one of them, because they're out on the court or they're out on something. Now, there is times that
Weekends,
they're
maybe.
available, that they can go out. If they go on weekends, now we're on overtime.
Yeah, I got you.
But if it's there, some justices are maybe being a conference or something, then they are on patrol. That's when we're catching up on order effective, catching up on civil paperwork and stuff like that.
Anybody else have a question on the sheriff's office tab? Right, now let's go on to what's your tab 34? It's the pink one, and that would be the sex offender registry. Right now, there are 89, or maybe more than that today, 89 registered sex offenders in Hamblen County. 59 of those fall under the jurisdiction of the sheriff's office. The others are covered for the city. We have one coordinator, which is Jody Ingram, and we also have 4 compliance officers, meaning there is an officer from each shift that assists her with this. The one thing we are asking for, excuse me, under the SOR budget is an increase in travel. And the reason being, we all know this, there are people constantly moving into our community. Included in those people are sex offenders that have to report to Jody. She has to start taking responsibility for them. She's going to need some additional help as far as the compliance officers. So we are asking for an increase in travel so these additional compliance officers can get the training they need. Now, a lot of the trainings they go to are free. Some are very minimal cost, but what the travel is going to cover is their hotel stay and any per diem.
I think we're only asking for $500.
$500.
So we have one compliance officer per shift. What I want is 2 compliance officers per shift if that was out, or if we get a lot more sex offenders, so then we'd be going to their house doing a compliance check. And I guess Florida just know we just done a huge compliance check with the TBI and U.S. Marshals and the Marshtown Police Department, and we went to everyone's house. But that's something we don't do every year, but we keep a track of them annually.
So there's 3 officers, there's 3 shifts, right?
No, we have 4 shifts, and there's 1 per shift, including the young lady who's the coordinator over all of it.
So 3 more? 3 more or 4 more? Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions about that one? All right, let's move on to what's your tab 35, which is the jail, and on the handout I gave you, it's the yellow. The only thing we're actually asking for, operational-wise, for the jail is an increase under food supplies. Now, it kind of goes without saying, once we get into the new facility, we're going to have a higher number of inmates. We all know the cost of food has gone up. So that, right now, is the only thing we're asking for. Now, all these other things that we had asked for last year that we ended up not getting because we haven't moved in yet, that's going to continue. That will stay in the budget across the board. So we're not asking for anything additional, again, like additional uniforms or additional training or anything like that. In the jail budget, we're solely asking for an increase in food supplies. Anybody have any questions about that?
I'd like permission to email you. I have several questions, but I won't get into them because I'm sure most of them are not interested. But as far as your prisoners, if they're, shall I say, pregnant, there's a higher nutritional effort. If they're diabetic, there's difference. So I will email you my questions. I won't hassle you. I'd like some answers, though. Thank you.
Just give an update, he's in recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on down to what is your tab 36, which, and I combined these on the little handout I gave you. Number 36 is the workhouse, which is also the litter program, and then, of course, number 40, which is inspection and regulation, what we'd refer to as civil service board. And of course, on those two budgets, we aren't asking for any kind of increase. Those are just gonna stay the same. But does anybody have any questions about either of those? We have the same gentleman serving on the Civil Service Board, Dwayne Evans, David Beckner, and then also Ronald Spiller. Did I pronounce his last name right?
You did.
Okay. All right then, shall we move on? Okay, what will be your tab number 58, which is the red one in the handout I gave you, and that's narcotics. As you can imagine, there is an ever-growing upswing in the work that our narcotics folks are having to do. Ever-growing upswing, but we are only asking for one operational increase under narcotics. That is going to be due to a Casper system. That has to do with surveillance that they do. It has to do with their informants. I don't know that we really
Don't wanna really
need to
get
elaborate
involved
on
in
it.
but it's something needed to do, some undercover operations and control.
TBI, if I'm not mistaken, they also use this.
We
So,
were using theirs for a while.
yeah. And it's very effective, so, but that's the only thing that we're asking for, the operational increase in narcotics. No questions with that? Well, something else that, that I think we need to address, as you guys are all aware, we have our 18 SROs in all of the schools, which we have those through a state grant. Now, the additional 5 SROs that we have, we pay for those out of the sheriff's office budget. Now, we were very blessed in the sense that the school board, as well as the city, at the onset, and I will say they shared funds with us with the upstart cost of that. Of course, that money's not going to last forever. But even with that, we are not asking for any additional funds pertaining to the SROs for equipment or supplies. Hopefully, at this point, we've got everything covered, so we're not asking anything else with that. Now, I'm sure, at least I hope you're aware of the fact that this past school year, we introduced, and I will say successfully reintroduced the DARE program into the school system. We started out with 2 certified DARE instructors. They're both SROs. Now, even though they're both SROs, the supplies and the equipment that they had to have for the DARE program could not be taken out of SRO funding. We took care of that. So that came out of our budget. Now, because of the success of this DARE program, they're wanting more children to be reached. And when I say they, I'm talking the school, I'm talking about parents, the community in general. They're wanting more kids to be reached. They're asking for additional DARE officers. So this upcoming year, we've got 2 more SROs that are going to be certified instructors. Because there is a very high cost that goes along with these DARE programs, the supplies, they're not cheap. I'm the one that orders them. They are not cheap. Captain Cribley and the sheriff went in front of the opioid abatement grant, and were approved, if I'm assuming you guys approved that, $10,000, which is going to go towards the DARE program. And then Mr. Bunch with the school system, he knows the value of this program, and they've also agreed to help out with an additional $15,000.
What this money goes to is we buy brochures in English and Spanish to give out to the kids. It also gives the graduates a DARE t-shirt. It gets Darren the stuffed animal line. They give it out to the essay winners. This money goes to provide that stuff to the kids.
And a lot of it's motivational stuff for the kids, some of the things he mentioned. And like you said, those workbooks that are in English and Spanish, it's ridiculous how much those things cost, but it's worth it. Every penny of it is worth it. There's also, they get medallions for the children. And a lot of these things that they have, these kids will continue with this DARE program, stuff that they learned, because I know there's other organizations that go into the school system and they kind of pick up some of the things that our DARE officers are teaching in the 4th grade, and they're going to carry it on through.
We have 2 certified instructors, like Michelle said, but we'll wait until after the school year and after they go through their in-services, and then 2 more officers to be certified. And they're targeting last year's 5th grade.
So Somebody have any questions about that? Again, we're not asking for any money. I just want to let you guys know what we are doing to keep from spending money, spending the taxpayers' money. Yes.
Are they in the elementary or middle school, the DARE program?
It's actually in the elementary school. Now, some of our SROs, actually, that aren't certified, they will touch on some of the DARE topics. I know one of our certified instructors, Jim Ballinger, he's at East High School. He also took some of the workbooks, and he was incorporating DARE with some of the high school students. I mean, even though he was a certified instructor, but still, they're trying to get DARE across the board with all of our kids, all the age ranges.
Talking about the instructors or in elementary or?
Just the program
Elementary, yeah.
They targeted this year fifth grade.
in every school?
Trying to. I know we had sixth grade.
And it's a 10-week course that these, and a lot of times the fact they're SROs, some of these, we have schools with 2 SROs. So while they're out training these kids, instructing them in the DARE program, the other SROs will pick up and cover their slack while they're off site. Anybody have any questions, anything else?
I have
DARE?
one.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I understanding you correctly that it takes 10 weeks to certify each one?
No, it's 10 weeks for the children, the
Okay.
program for the kids.
How long does it take the officer to?
10 weeks.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
the officer is 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Yes, I'm
okay.
sorry, she was
Thank
saying
you.
how long it
I'm
takes.
sorry,
The
I didn't.
certification for the DARE instructor.
Yes, sir.
But it's for the children, it's 1 hour a week for 10 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
And for the officers to become certified, they have to go to Nashville for 2 weeks.
Any other questions?
Okay, so those are the operational things that we're asking for, and as you can see, we're keeping it at an absolute minimum as best we can. But conversation between the sheriff, the chief, the captain, and then some of us, there's some other things that we would like to address and hopefully get remedied, if not tonight, at some point in time in these meetings. One of the many uphill battles that we are dealing with almost on a daily basis are vehicles. We have vehicles that are constantly breaking down. We spend a substantial amount of money on repairs for these vehicles. They're very high mileage. As you can imagine, they're on the road constantly. Somebody mentioned vehicles earlier, and they were, I can't remember who they were talking about, but he was talking about how the vehicles, how they're constantly, all the use of these vehicles. Well, take whatever that was and multiply it by a deputy. Anyway, so we're spending all this money on these repairs, and a lot of times when these vehicles are in the shop, that means there's a deputy without a vehicle. So then there's one car that's being shared by 2 individuals, which means that car's on the road 24/7. A car that's on the road that much, that in turn leads to a whole nother group of issues. So after some consideration, and again, the sheriff can address this further if you need him to, we are actually asking to be able to purchase 2 new Explorers in this upcoming budget year. Yes, ma'am.
I live next to the city garage, and when I pull out of the drive, and in their garage is, they're working on this garbage truck, that fire engine, and that police car. Can we not, we're sharing the jail, we're sharing the schools, we're sharing the landfill. Could we not say, hey, you guys, here comes our vehicle?
I would love to.
How do we do that? How do we do that?
Think about it, if when you leave and their bay is full of all these other vehicles, when would they have time to get to ours?
Well, you know,
If they would share their garage time with us,
Miss Ahern, we need to put a bee in a bonnet somewhere.
You know somebody.
Hey, man.
I mean, it's amazing to me that they're willing for us to educate them, to take them in, to, everybody takes but when it comes to something that crucial, they're not sharing the load, I guess I'd say.
Is those vehicles fully equipped?
I've got some pricing on some fully equipped vehicles turnkey. The Dodge Chargers, we've not had a whole lot of, I've got a Dodge Chargers, 100,000 miles, we're having major issues
What's availability of the Explorers?
Well, back to the chargers, they make no 2024 or no 2025 chargers coming out. My understanding, I talked to Captain one today, they're coming out with 2026 inline six engine. I know nothing about it, it's new. They're not even available. So what was your question, sorry?
The Explorers, what's availability of them time frame?
I'll have to check. I talked with Captain Moore, he usually keeps up with the bids, but I feel pretty certain that we could get to it.
Question.
Yes.
Is that what the troopers drive?
Yes. I've spoken with PHP supervision, they've had some good luck out of the Ford Explorer, and I think they're going to work with Chargers as well. They're using the Ford Explorers and Chevy Tahoes, but the Ford Explorer is cheaper than that.
Have any other questions about two new Explorers that we really would like to have? That we need to have? Okay, so in addition to the issue with the vehicles, we also have a big issue with hiring new employees and maintaining the employees we have. Now, I can say this because I work at the sheriff's office. There's a great team of people that work there. There's a really strong camaraderie with everybody. Everybody gets along. There's loyalty there. Loyalty is only going to take you so far. People are going to go where the paycheck is. People need to support their families, and they're going to go where they can get that. Now, right now, we mentioned earlier that we desperately need the 8 preferably, but we'll take the 4 full-time court security. As we stand right now, this moment, we need 30 people in the jail. 30 additional people in the jail. Now, of course, we talked about the fact because of the size, the layout of the new Justice Center, we have got to have that. But in regard to these folks working in the jail, we have got to have that or this jail's not going to be certified. That's one of the main reasons that we build a new jail, is so we could be certified. If we don't have enough staff, it's just not going to happen.
And I'll address some staffing issues here later on about the 30, but that'll come in here too.
And one thing that we've not just sat and hoped people would come knock on the door and ask for an application. We have actively tried to bring people in. We printed up brochures. We have distributed them all throughout the community. We go to job fairs. The sheriff and one of the detectives even went to a job fair in Middlesboro, Kentucky. We have been to job fairs. We have done that. We've had numerous social media blasts. We're hiring, trying to encourage, because that's the best way to reach people now. Numerous social media blasts to bring people in. Our next venture coming up in June, we're going to have a career fair for the sheriff's office at Rose Center. The bottom line is, if people aren't applying, we can't hire anybody. I mean, if they're not coming to us, we can't hire them. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's suppose you can't. Okay, can you say, this is all the inmates we can handle?
Well, I don't know, the evil world that we live in, I don't know that that's,
It's hot crime.
yeah.
When they come into jail, we have to accept it.
We can't say we're maxed out, you gotta go back home.
There's no such thing as you can't come in their jail unless you've got
But suppose there was a thing, okay. What if you said, wait a minute, let me check with Hancock, they've got an opening. Just like if I were to go check into a hotel,
An operational cost will skyrocket. We're taking Hancock County, then 2 days we gotta bring them back for a bond hearing, take them back to Hancock County, then come back to the court hearing, you gotta go back and forth to get them.
May I ask a question? Are you having anybody put in for the jobs at all?
We have, and I'll get into that with some salary stuff. It's not cut out for just anybody. We've had some that apply that have stayed. We have some that apply that has not stayed, that has left pretty soon. We've had some that ask where the bathroom's at. This ain't for me, and never come back.
And we've also heard, sadly, we've heard comments. I mean, people will come in and it's like they're going to be a great candidate. They passed their psychological exam. They're geared up, ready to go. They're there for 2 or 3 days. They're there for 2 or 3 months, and then they just quit. And I'm sure Captain Laws can attest to this. I know the chief can. I know the sheriff can. We're hearing comments from these people like, I don't make enough money to put up with this, you can fill in the blank.
I can believe that.
Excuse my ignorance if it's been brought up before, but is there like bonus signing bonuses that have been offered in the past for, I mean, the world today, wherever you work at, that supplements hourly rates a lot of times. It doesn't fix it, but it's a temp, I don't know if that's
We have
ever
not done
been.
that, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't think, to give a sign-on bonus, get somebody to come, a little better employees or loyal employees that's been with us.
Amen.
I don't think that's a good morale booster. And I mean, it's a good question. And we see the signs is that you can now go to Nashville, $15,000 sign-on bonus if you stay for 3 years. That's not good for your loyal employees.
And that's one thing we want to do also. Again, we talked about loyalty. We need to take care of our people. Yes, sir.
Could some of them be leaving because of the current jail, or?
I'm gonna say that's possible, but we take them over to the new facility and let them see what's coming shortly. So in their training, they go to the new facility and see we're not having that.
One thing too, if I may add, you know, we've got these new hires coming in. Now, again, we've maintained some of them. We've got some good folks. We just don't have enough. But in addition to these new hires coming in saying, this money is not worth it for me, we're losing seasoned people. We have literally lost somebody because of the pay in every single division at the sheriff's office. The patrol, detective, narcotics, in the jail. We recently lost a jail employee, somebody who was not only bilingual, but she could also speak sign language. That's a very valuable employee in the jail. Now, when you've got folks going to, I'm just going to throw this out there, the new probation office with no backgrounds, no anything, they're just going in from scratch. When they can go in there starting out at $20 an hour, how can we compete with that? We can't compete with the fast food chicken place down the street.
It's true.
I get that. I mean, you put a gun on or an apron.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've got some numbers here I want to share with you all, and some whys and things like that. Once they leave us, I want to bring them in and do an exit.
And I think too, the bottom line with this, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think people need to feel appreciated, and I think they need to feel their worth. I mean, you guys have toured this jail. You don't know the extent of what our people deal with, but I think you kind of have a grasp of it. I wouldn't want to work in a jail. I couldn't. I don't know that you guys would want to work in a jail. And the people that do apply, that do stick with it, they need to be compensated for it. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say something to me. Now, one thing that has been done, and you'll see this in that handout I gave you, the sheriff has put a lot of work into this, Captain Cribley, the chief. We've all put a lot of work into this, getting salaries from surrounding counties. Salaries that, I mean, these people do basically the same thing our folks do, maybe not to the degree. I mean, you think about Hamblen County, and we know this, we're the hub of everything. You know, we're right here at 81 and 40 and 25. What we discovered is that these people doing basically the same job in these surrounding counties, they're being compensated way more than what our folks do. Now, even though the benefits in these other counties are probably, I don't know, but they're probably not as good as ours, even though they probably don't have a free clinic that they can go to. And even though they're having to drive out of county, they are still going to other counties to apply instead of right here where they live, simply because of the pay. And the chart that the sheriff made mention of, it's at the back of your budgets. It's got a breakdown of the different counties, the starting for corrections officers as well as patrol. I'll let you take that if you want.
I reached out personally to each sheriff, Greene County, Granger County, Hawkins County, Cobb County, Sevier County, and Jefferson. So if you look at the top in the red, corrections start in Greene County, 1883, that's a new hire. Corrections start in Granger County, 1970. Hawkins County, 2212. Cobb County, 1827. Jefferson County, didn't give me by hour, they started out at 45,000. Corrections in Sevier County, which I know it's a tourist county, they're making $20.78 an hour. Within 3 years with Sevier County, they're making 52 points. You come down to Hamblen County, our starting pay for our jail staff, our correction officers, is $17.50. We're the lowest around. So you go on down to patrol, Greene County, $22.78 an hour. Granger County, $20.70. Crow and Hawkins County, they pay their corrections the same as they pay their patrol starting out, $22.12. Cobb County, $23.07. Sevier County, $26.03. After 3 years, they're at $67. Down to Hamblen County, we started at $18.98. We're the lowest in every county around us, and I can't compete with that. That is some of the problems that we're having. I know we're going to be able to retain some officers and some jailers with the new facility, but we're not nowhere close to some of the other counties right around us, and they're doing the same job.
Do we have longevity for those that are in, for those?
After 3 years, longevity does kick in at $75 a year. I checked with some of these others, some of the benefit packages, some of them is similar to ours, some is lower. I know Jefferson County, if you were single, your health insurance is free. Ours is only $50 a pay period, but theirs is free. They have longevity pay. Cobb County has about the same as us. The only thing they don't have is the free clinic. They have longevity pay. They have same insurance, so they pay $30 to $70.
Hey, Chad,
Yes.
what does the city pay?
I don't have the cities. Now, starting out, they're probably I've got some of it. Their entry level's at $41,766. But where there's a huge not a discrepancy, a huge gap, is once you get out of entry level, in their supervision, they're making probably $20,000 to $25,000 more than we are. If you're in supervisor, if you're a sergeant, lieutenant, or captain, even their detective division, they're between $20,000 and $30,000 more than what we are. That's the first part.
And I mean, I'll agree with you. And, you know, this is not just the police department, this is everywhere around, because we're facing it in the food industry. What we're seeing today is the younger people, the package doesn't matter to them. They're not worried about insurance. They're not worried about anything but the dollar amount. And, you know, and I'll be honest, and I'll say this, and I do think our police force is underpaid. We start our managers out with no experience in the restaurant industry at more money than we pay our sheriff's department. Okay? Entry level, we're at $42,000 to $46,000 a year. Okay? I agree with Chad. You know, we're starting our 16-year-old employees out at $12 to $13 an hour in the restaurant industry. Okay? We've got to pay our officers more. If not, we've got two different problems. It's not just this. How are we going to staff the jail? But if we got people leaving because of the dollar, I agree, we have to, I wouldn't do their job for what they get paid. I mean, we really need to stand with Chad, and as hard as it's going to hurt us and hit us, we're going to have to look at the pay on it.
Any other questions?
If you flip over one in your booklet, I've got you don't have it, I'm sorry, I've got a pie chart. It is kind of strictly from direction of the department, and I will just give you some of the things that our officers do. Last year, Dan answered almost 17,000 calls, 17,000 incidents, close to a give or take. In that, there was 49 missing person reports. They do the reports, get turned over to the detective, and they have to search these people. There's 49 of them. They worked 151 wrecks with injuries, 8 attempted suicides, 81 suicide threats. We had 1 kidnapping. Says in this we had no murders, but that's not the case. We're indicting somebody in federal court. We're selling drugs that killed 5 people. So we're just, that number will eventually be 5. We had 5 reported rapes, 1 stabbing, 5 shootings. Officers answered 265 domestic calls, 60 fires. They went to 74 people home that were dead, and 74 assaults. 839 high priority calls out of the 17,000. Any questions on the chart? If you keep that, the chart with the pay, and I'll address some of the issues with the jail. If you can remember back in 2020, back then Mayor Bill Breton requested Jim Hartwell CTAS to conduct a jail staffing analysis for the new Hamblen County Jail. Upon completion, Mr. Hart proposed an increase in the number of employees. At that time, we had 56 jail staff. After Mr. Hart's recommendation, that number of employees went from 56 to 128 to operate the new jail. That's an increase of 72 employees. Upon taking office, I felt the Hamblen County Jail could operate with few less employees than what Mr. Hart felt we needed. After analyzing and revising Mr. Hart's staffing analysis, my initial proposal was I thought we could operate with 97. Understanding if that number was not feasible, more employees could be added as needed. This number was later increased by adding 3 more additional employees for a total of 100 employees that I estimated that we needed to safely and properly operate the new Hamblen County Jail. That is with minimum inmates, not a maximum amount of inmates. So we decreased that recommendation by 28 employees then. In the months that have followed since the approval of the staffing analysis, my staff and I attempted to hire a number of employees that I feel was needed to operate the jail. During my time as sheriff, several correction officers have been hired, but they're not all were hired has remained there. Several have left due to employment elsewhere because the pay was better than what they were making here, and that's what I was talking about with the exit interview. That's where they're going. I've lost a couple to probation. One that Michelle was talking about was bilingual and sign. She left our jail to go to a she's never been a probation officer, making more money. I lost another one to another probation officer out of Sevier County. So one of our officers was lost by a TBI investigation that I launched, and he ended up being indicted. Counting the number of employees that have left and the number of positions that yet to be filled, I still have 30 positions to be filled after we cut that 28. Because these unfilled positions, this year I have returned to the general fund from those positions $1,228,149 from unfilled positions. And I know this money will have to be reallocated in order to pay the employees if and when the positions are filled. The way things are going right now, I have very few individuals applying for the job once they find out the pay. We have done job fairs, posted on social media monthly. We have hired consultants, the handouts that Michelle was talking about, distributed brochures. It seems no one works in the jail. Again, I've got some notes probation officer pays her employees $20 an hour, and I can't compete with that. Myself, my employees, they do appreciate the raises this body's given them in the past, but we're still below everybody else. However, with the raises at Hamblen County Jail, it's still the lowest paid in all surrounding counties. In my opinion, people work for two things, that's money and benefits. If the money's not right, then they don't apply. And if they're offered better pay elsewhere, they leave us. I feel like a training ground. We'll hire them, get them trained, they leave us for more money. Our benefit package is good, probably one of the best in surrounding counties and the same as them. But the bottom line, people are looking for the dollar amount of their paycheck. Bottom line, we can't compete with other jails around us. One thing that I'm concerned about is, you gotta remember, once the new jail's complete and we're understaffed, we'll fail inspection. A failed inspection means the jail won't be certified. Without certification, our goal is to receive Tier 1 and Tier 2 accreditation status, which will mean more money on the board bill. If you get Tier 1, it's $6 a day more than the $41 they're giving us. And if you get Tier 2, it's $12 more than the $41 they're giving us for the state. So it could actually bring in quite a bit more money. With all that to say on this matter, there's one thing to mention. The only explanation I have for keeping employees right now is their loyalty. Their loyalty to their community, their coworkers, their profession.
Sheriff
Questions?
Mullins, how many, when you say minimum amount of prisoners, what is you consider the
number.
minimum amount in the
We're
new?
averaging captain 350, 400 right now. But keep in mind, the recovery court's got probably 65 or 70 inmates out from Hamblen County. Jail to work's got 12? 7 to 12 at all times. And then we also have a mental health court that's got about 8 in it. And if it wasn't for these programs, they'd be sitting in jail. That would bump us up to 450, 500.
Mr. Horner?
Plus, you've not done a roundup in 4 years.
Do what?
You haven't done a roundup in 4 years either.
Plus, we've not done a roundup in 4 years. We've got a lot of drug indictments waiting.
Ms. Green?
Thank you, sir. Quick question. You said minimum inmates was 350, and for 100 officers, 128, just to make sure that I'm on the same page with you, sir. How many officers did you think you would need to handle the 350 minimum?
Jim Hart's proposal was 128 officers.
I remember that.
We cut it by 28, so we've got 100 officers, correction officers,
So you think with 100, you could handle the 350?
right now. But we're 30 short of that 100.
So you're running with 70 officers right now, am I correct?
Yes.
God, that's dangerous. I'm sorry.
Pat,
Mr. Richardson?
how much money you need to get them, to get
I'm
the
asking
people?
for a 10% raise across the board for all employees.
Now, would that be just our regular people, like our jailers, or are we talking about administrative as well that makes quite a bit more?
I'm talking across the board, administrative and all.
Okay.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Sheriff, that figure that you have, the 100, 128 or whatever, that's dictated by state regulation based on the number of inmates. Is that
That's
fair? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing I want to address, if you don't care, you were asking earlier about nutrition. If you remember, we approved a vendor package for the food. It has a minimum of 2,500 calories, something like that a day, and it has nutritionists on staff that supports that, all those questions you were asking about.
But we need to look into that.
Yeah, we've already approved that.
Well, I don't
vendor
doubt
package.
that, but we need to look into it.
Any other questions?
I've got to have at least 10% to retain what I've got and to recruit new employees. What we're doing is not working. the money's not there.
Ms. Howe?
Yes, sir, thank you. This is a toughie that I'm gonna say, but what if we did that for the officers who are in the jail right now, the guards, and the new guys, and maybe not administration?
I can't do it without any of them. I'm asking for 10% across the board, is what I'm needing. And they do. And we only have 5 girls working in office. Michelle's one of them. I couldn't make it without her. And she spoke about Jody, sex offenders, all the stuff she does, the records.
Sheriff, I want to thank you and Michelle for coming today. Believe me, we appreciate everything you do. I'm proud of our Hamblen County Sheriff's Department, and we will take all of this into consideration. We've got a lot of hard decisions to make. We appreciate you. At this time, we will go to 4G. That's the general fund revenue, to be presented by County Mayor Chris Cutshaw. I think you had a copy of that on your desk earlier today, Commissioners.
All right, Commissioners, tonight is our Hamblen County General Fund Revenue Report. We touched on this first in the overview just a few days ago. I believe it was last Monday that we discussed it, and our revenue sources include our property taxes, our sales tax, wheel tax, and county fee offices. They include state grants, federal through state agency grants, and transfers from other funds. But as we go down that list, we'll start first with our county property taxes. This year, the budgeted amount for property tax is the same as last year due to our reappraisal that we're going through. Our reassessment is revenue neutral. So already we know that our revenue should not increase greatly on the assessment. Does that make sense? Okay, the revenue's there. We do have a decrease in tax revenue from prior year collections because there are fewer delinquent property taxes. Our trustee has been very active. I think it's at 96% collections right now and may go up to 98% before the year is out. So he's doing a fine job on that. So that revenue is not there as it has been in the past. So the overall budgeted increase of $16,000 in local revenue for the fiscal year 25-26. There's some other points to be made in that. There is one item on revenues that may actually increase because of reassessment. How that works, we've been in, there's a ratio used for personal property. Right now, this past year, it's at 0.62. And that will equalize and go back to 1 this year for personal property. So we may see an increase of some of those personal property funds that will come back. And I think that's it could be, you know, a good little bump there, but we won't know until all this is said and done what that may be. And as always, we're trying to estimate our revenues low. and our expenses high. I don't want to do it the other way and then surprise everyone and not have the revenue that we said we would have. So we're just trying to be prepared for that. But if we'll move on to outside of property taxes, we have our licenses. We've experienced a decrease in cable TV franchise fees due to more households that are streaming now. And we expect this decrease to further decrease in the years to come. TV services going away, and therefore those revenues will be decreasing on that. So fines and forfeitures and penalties, overall slight increase, mainly due to fees collected through our drug court. Fees, minor decrease in recreational fees as a result of our camping rental changes at Cherokee Park. Our educational charges, $2,000 revenue expected from the newly formed probation court services. Again, we have began a probation court service. Last year we funded that through opioid abatement money. This coming year we're hoping it stands on its own. That we do not know yet, but we're hoping it stands on its own. And obviously those are questions we'll have to come across if it does not. Other local revenues, we have decrease in rental income from the former space that we had rented by Judge Boniface. So we did away with our annex, our county clerk. It moved all her operations in one building. We saving money, but yet we lose revenue where we had rented that space to Judge Boniface. County official fees decrease. We've had a decrease in fee income from county offices. The majority of that is attributed to the clerk and master with less delinquent property tax collections. Public safety grant, I missed that somewhere. Our public safety grants, we have increase shown in health department programs, but this increase is offset by increased expense for health department salary. So overall, it's a wash in that. We've gained some, but yet because of the salary increases, which is across the board, it's just a flat even on that. Other state revenues kept state revenue from prisoner boarding the same, but we might see a slight increase if we do once we open up the new facility and some of those inmates, we could see an increase in that revenue. Contributions from other governments, largest decrease in budgeted revenue from for the next year comes from the lack of the contribution from the city, government, and the school for our SRO program. Last year we had received up to we received $800,000 from the school system and $150,000 from the city during the past 2 fiscal years for that program, and this year those funds will not be there. So that was really a big part of our revenue decrease for this year. In summary, our overall anticipated reduction in revenue of $808,000 from one year to the next. Still some unknowns about our property tax, just as I had said, as the revenue due to the reappraisal process. There's still unknowns. We know it's revenue neutral, but there's still unknowns. We don't know exactly where that's going to go, especially with the new, it is neutral, but we could see that bump in the revenue from our personal property that I was explaining, and personal property understandings within our, the industries. That their machines and what they do. That's the personal property that we're referring to. Is there any questions?
Just a comment. All businesses have a personal property tax, sir.
Yes, ma'am, I know that. I'm saying the biggest portion of that is our industry.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Year over year, we do see flat revenues. We're just trying to be cautious of what that may look like. So as this body moves forward with everything, Chairman of the Budget Committee, Mr. Long. He'll address how we'll proceed, yet you just keep in mind, we've got a lot of expenses in front of us with flat revenues.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone with any other questions? Thank you. If you'll notice at the bottom of that, our process on May the 29th, we will begin budget deliver, something down my throat. We'll be deliberating the budget on May the 29th. We'll start at 5 o'clock. We will be getting the agenda out for that meeting of how we will proceed. On the June the 12th, if everything goes right, we'll wrap up and with any open items at 5 o'clock in this courtroom. And then the June the 16th, the Budget Committee will recommend a budget to the Commission. I would like to say we have some hard decisions to be made. This is a year where it's not easy that we just sit here and we say everything's going to be easy for us this year on the budget. I think everyone needs to be concentrating and understanding that there's a lot of hard decisions to make. We have a responsibility to everyone in this county to do the best job that we can, and I'm quite sure this commission is up for it. Is all minds clear? See you Thursday, 29th at 5 o'clock.